much for that beautiful music. You notice the theme in the music? There's something about love. Yeah. Come back next week because it's about love next week. So bless you. Blessings of love to you. Blessings of all the abundance of the universe to be yours. Blessings to you on this journey of your life. Blessings upon blessings. We as humans are blessed at the moment of creation. When God, in that time of creation, at every step along the way, declared creation good. And when God got to us as humans, we weren't just blessed with goodness. We were blessed as very good. Take that in. You are very good. And we have the gift of blessing one another. In my very early days at Unity, my minister, Reverend Steve, would always pause when there was a siren. Now, our church was on kind of a busy street, so there were often sirens during class or whatever, and he would just pause and lift a blessing for whoever was involved in whatever was going on that caused that siren. And he set that example, so I picked that up, and I did that for years. And then I read this book, The Gentle Art of Blessing, a simple practice that will transform you and your world, by Pierre Praderv. It's a lovely, lovely book. And after I read this book, I started blessing hospitals as I drove by, blessing schools, prisons, and because I had a history in long-term care, I sent blessings to the nursing homes as I passed them, blessing the people who work in them, the staff, the people who are there for care, or the children in the schools, or the people who are incarcerated. Send blessings to them. And I noticed that, it was really cool, and I just started this recently on my morning walk or when I'm driving and I see some billboard or a yard sign that kind of triggers some feelings in me. I send blessings to that house, pour out blessings upon blessings to all of those homes and all of those buildings and businesses, even though they share opinions that are different than mine. Sharing blessings instead of something else changes our lives. It changes us. It changes the energy that moves inside of us. One of my favorite blessings is the light surrounds you, the love enfolds you, the power protects you, and the presence watches over you. So that's what I use whenever I send out a blessing for an emergency. And both the Old Testament and the New Testament have real clear scriptures about blessings. And I want to read Deuteronomy 28, 3-8. And it says, "You will be blessed in the city and blessed in the country. The fruit of your womb will be blessed, and the crops of your land, and the young of your livestock, the calves of your herds, and the lambs of your flock will be blessed. Your baskets and your kneading troughs will be blessed. You will be blessed when you come in, and you will be blessed when you go out. The Lord will grant that the enemies who rise up against you will be defeated before you. They will come at you from one direction, and they will flee from you in seven. The Lord will send blessings upon your barns and on everything you put your hands to. The Lord God will bless you in the land he has given you. The Lord will open the heavens and the storehouse of his bounty to send rain upon your land in season and to bless the works of your hands. You will lend to many nations, but will borrow for none. You will be blessed." Now this is our blessing for living in accordance with our truth. It's when we remember the goodness in which we are created, when we remember the I am of our being, that meditation, all that God is, I am. When we remember all that we are open and receptive, and we have the eyes to see and ears to hear those blessings. And when we step out of awareness of that truth, we forget and we don't see the goodness and the blessings that are in our life. Or I should speak for myself, I don't. Do you? When we step out of that awareness, when I'm living my truth, I'm living in awareness and in harmony with those spiritual laws that allow me to be open, that allow nature, the universe to flow, and for me to flow along with it. When we live in alignment with the Lord your God, which is that principle of unconditional love, and the Lord is our I am, our highest consciousness, our spiritual nature, our true nature. And then we hear in the New Testament, of course you're all familiar with it, the Beatitudes. And Jesus took the disciples to the mountaintop, and he taught them. And that mountainside represents that high place of consciousness, our high thinking, our spiritual thinking, not our human thinking. And he said, blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are those who mourn, blessed are the meek, blessed are the merciful, blessed those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Blessed are the pure in heart, and blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are those who are persecuted. That's an awful lot of blessing for almost every category of person. And one day we'll take a day and talk about the metaphysical understanding of the Beatitudes. But we can recognize today that this kingdom of heaven that we're blessed with is us living our spiritual truth. We can't say that often enough because we slip out of our awareness of that frequently and easily. And these blessings are meeting life on life's terms because we're here on earth and life happens, but meeting all of that from a high consciousness, remembering our spiritual truth, remembering who and what we are. So what is a blessing? In this book, The Gentle Art of Blessing, the author says, to bless means to wish unconditionally and from the deepest chamber of our heart, unrestricted good for others and for events. It means to hallow, to hold in reverence, to behold with awe that which is always a gift from the Creator. Those who are hallowed by your blessing are set aside. To bless is to speak or think gratefully for, to confer happiness upon, although we ourselves are never the bestowers of, but simply the joyful witness to life's abundance. The joyful witness to life's abundance. When was the last time that you witnessed life's abundance? Anybody? When did you last witness that? Did you see this morning? Thank you. Thank you. That's a great answer. Life's abundance is always flowing towards us, for us. We can witness it. And as we bless others, we are working with and engaging several spiritual laws. Now, these spiritual laws are in motion always, whether we acknowledge them, whether we're aware of them, just like the scientific laws, inertia, that an object will stay set or will stay in its line of motion until it hits an opposite force. The law of gravity, which keeps us tethered to the earth, that which causes things to fall down instead of float when we drop them. Those scientific laws are always in motion. I don't recall when I last thought about gravity until I was preparing today. And there are spiritual laws that are humming along the same way. We often think of the law of mind action. Those thoughts that we hold in mind tend to attract more of the same kind. You see that happen in your own life. If that seed of a negative thought takes hold, then boy, down that spiral we go. And the same way is that joyful thought takes hold, man, we are lifted, and then we lift others. So we see that in our everyday life. And then that law of circulation. That law of circulation is when I am open and giving from my highest self, the love, then I'm open to also receive the love, and that love comes back tenfold. Consider those things that you volunteer in, those places that you volunteer. Who volunteers and feels worse after? We volunteer our time and energy into those things that we are passionate about, and when we're complete, we feel uplifted, we feel energized, because we're giving of ourselves and it is returning to us. That's the law of circulation. So when we are blessing someone, we are engaging certain spiritual laws. The first one that Pierre talks about in this gentle art of blessing is the law of expectation. What we expect to happen tends to happen. Did you ever go into an encounter and think, oh my goodness, this is going to be just dreadful, this is going to be horrible and awful, and it's going to be full of conflict, and that's exactly what you get? Or you go into an encounter thinking, oh, I can't wait to have this conversation with a person. I know there's some issue, but we can work it out and things will be well. And that's how it goes. So I ask you, did you wake up this morning and say, good morning, God? Or do you wake up in the morning and say, good God, morning? It's all about our expectations, and it comes to fruition. So over the next week, set aside 24 hours and clearly set the intention of expecting good for 24 hours. And then notice what happens. Notice what good rises. Now you have to be awake and alert and attentive to notice the good, because it might not come in a big gold package with a red bow. It just might be a cardinal floating by, or a hummingbird landing on your feeder. Set your expectations and watch for the good to show up. Now, it's important for me to say that getting my good doesn't always mean that I get what I want or what I think I want. Good can look differently through different lenses. But when I look deeply enough, when I look past the surface, I can see something good. When I look past the worldly expression, and when I trust that the universe is always upholding my good. When I was driving in this morning, I listened to a Tara Brach podcast, and in that she reminded me of Albert Einstein's question, do you see the world as inherently good or inherently not? And that sets the tone for everything. I happen to think that there's a basic goodness in the world. That underneath the mess, the confusion, the chaos, that's underneath all of that, that our world is good because our people are good, because our earth is good. I believe that. And so I see a little differently. But just notice how you think and see, and then notice your expectation for good. Notice how it comes into fruition. The next law is the law of right return. And many faith practices have this, whatsoever we sow, so shall we reap. Of course, that's us in our Christian faith. And then the Confucians believe that what comes out of you shall return. what comes out of you shall return. So what's coming out of you? In your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. And in Hinduism, it's a tree will grow as you sow it. And in Islam, it says you will be paid what you have fairly earned. Fairly earned. So whatever you put into the world can only come back to you. If your experiences, loving encounters, joyful interactions, notice the love that you are sharing. Notice the love that's coming out of you, and that's what you receive back. And if you are experiencing, or we are experiencing, angry encounters, notice those places and spaces within that are harboring anger, resentment, irritation, because that's a form of anger too. Just slightly irritated, I'm not really mad, but that's a form of anger. So notice that places. Hermes is credited with saying, as within, so without. As above, so below. And we live that. We see that every single day in our own lives. It's our unity principle. We create our experience. We co-create our experience by the activity of our thinking. And we can't carry resentment or anger and expect the world to respond otherwise. We will be disappointed. It's the law of right return. So again, you have an opportunity. Choose 24 hours in this coming week and notice your encounters with others. Notice what they're reflecting back to you. And you and I have the opportunity to change what's going on in here. To change what's going on in here. We have the unique and wonderful ability to change that. We can turn our thinking on a dime. We can turn it around and change it completely. When I worked in long-term care, I woke up feeling just a really bad case of the grumps. And I thought, well, I'm going to stay with that. I'm just going to hang on to that. And it was about a 30-minute drive to the place I worked. And the whole way I drove, I just ignored the sun hanging over the lake. And I just said, I'm hanging on to grumpy. I'm just going to do that. And I pulled into the parking lot, and I was making a conscious decision to hang on to grumpy. And as I opened the door, this gentleman walked by with his walker. And he had just moved in. And he had lost his beloved wife of many years, and he was just getting to adjust to living in a new place. And I looked at him, and in that instant, I let go of grumpy, because that man deserved something better from me. That man deserved something better than my grumpiness. And that's how quickly we can let go of feelings and emotions and shift where we are in our consciousness. I just decided to change. I just decided that this individual, this beautiful soul, deserves something better from me than my grumpiness. And it changed. We have that. And then, of course, we have the golden rule. And of course, we all know that. And every faith tradition, every spiritual path that we know of has a version of this gem. Matthew 7:12 says, in everything do to others what you would have them do to you. Do to others as you would have them do to you. In Islam, it is desire for your brothers what you desire for yourself. In Hinduism, it is do not do to others what would cause pain if it was done to you. And in Judaism, it says, what is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow human. And our Buddhists say, hurt not others in ways that you find hurtful. And the Taoists say, regard your neighbor's gain as your gain and your neighbor's losses as your loss. What a beautiful way to remind us that, we're here in oneness. And when we consider not just our actions, but also our thoughts that we hold towards one another, because the words we say might be very pretty, but the thoughts that we're holding might be contrary. They might be different. So it's the energy of our thoughts along with our words and our actions. So again, pick 24 hours in the next week and notice not just the words that come out of you, but the thoughts that you're holding, so that your thoughts and words are in alignment and they're from your goodness. Now these last two are the two of my favorite spiritual laws, the spiritual law of unconditional love. I turn to the words of Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore and his description of love. So I'm going to ask you just to sit, close your eyes if you feel like you want to, and allow these words into your heart. Charles Fillmore says, love is the pure essence of being. Love is what binds together the whole human family. Of all the attributes of God, love is undoubtedly the most beautiful. In divine mind, love is the power that joins and binds in divine harmony the universe and everything in it. Divine love is impersonal. It loves for the sake of loving. It is not concerned with who it loves or what it loves, or even if love is returned. Like the sun, love's joy is in the shining forth of its nature. Love is an inner quality that sees good everywhere and in everybody. It insists that all is good, and by refusing to see anything but good, it causes good to finally appear uppermost in itself and in all things. The words of our co-founder, Charles Fillmore. That gives me goosebumps every time I read it. So love binds together the entire human family. No one is left out, regardless of our color, our size or shape, or how we pray, or who we love, or what gender we are, or what nation we come from. Love binds us all together, without exception. We are all part of that beautiful web of humanity. And love sees good in everybody, in everything. Love refuses to see anything but good. Oh, wow. Love refuses to see anything but good, because that love knows that good is there. See, underneath the stuff, good is there. Good is there because God is there. And Scripture tells us that God is love. Take that with you today. We are called so very profoundly to bless others with our love. Not just the easy places to give love, but those places that challenge us, that place where we want to hold back, That's the place to pour more. That place where we resist the invitation to love, pour more. And in those places where I cannot see the good, I sit in a place trusting that somewhere, some way, good is there. Because I believe that presence is always there. I believe that presence is the goodness and is the love. And I simply allow my eyes to trust and wait for the day and wait for the moment where I might see the good. And then finally, we have the law of universal harmony. Life, all of life, that which we see and that which we can only attempt to imagine, seeks harmony. It moves towards balance. Life just does that. And Charles Fillmore says that when the will is centered in the external and loses sight of the ideal connection between spirit and manifestation, when that is broken, when we are no longer seeing from spirit manifestation, harmony is lost. So think to the last time that there was disharmony in your heart or in your life, and how connected or disconnected from the divine spirit, whatever name you call that essence and energy that moves. How connected or disconnected were you mentally from that? That presence is always there. It has to be. We disconnect from time to time, and that's when we move out of harmony. And harmony is restored through knowledge and remembering the truth of our being. We must know this truth and live this truth in our thoughts, our words, and actions, and not to be misled by appearances. An easy task, right? Not so much. No, because the appearances draw us out of our center. It draws us out of our truth. But don't be distracted or misled by the appearances. Dig deep into that richer truth. So I leave you today with my blessing from my heart to yours. I bless you with sunlight to light your way. I bless you with peace in your heart each day. I bless you with abundant love to find a dwelling place. I bless you with more love to share in every space. I bless you with wisdom and truth to guide you, with ease and joy for all that is yours to do. And we always remember 1 Corinthians 16:14. Say it with me. Let all you do be done in love. Namaste.